champ is here. The champ is here. The champ is here.
Thank you all for tuning in to this interview that I have with Freeway Ricky Ross. I want to first of all thank Rick for the opportunity to get this interview with him. We chop it up about many things. We talk about life after prison, the educational system. We talk about the cannabis industry. We talk about the sport of boxing. We talk about politics. Please let others know about the Brand on the Ropes Boxing. Hit the share button, hit the notifications icon, and just support the Brand on the Ropes. I have a store on YouTube with the On the Ropes brand merchandise. This is one of the merchandise here, the sweat hood here. I don't know if you can see it, but hopefully you can. Pretty soon I'll have the hats also out as well. And I want to thank all the young talent in my area that supports the Brand on the Ropes with the gear that they wear. I want to thank all the professional boxers that support the Brand on the Ropes when they wear the gear also as well. I want to continue to grow the brand as we get into 2021. Shout out to all my youngsters who are getting ready for the Nationals. Unfortunately, it won't take place this year, but in the first half of 2021. I know they're going to do great things in the upcoming year. I'll be there to always put a spotlight on the young talent that's coming up in the sport of boxing. But up next, check out the interview that I had with the real Rick Ross on the ropes. I'm out.
All right, today on the ropes, I got a very special guest. I have a self-made mogul, entrepreneur, author, and to many different industries out there. I have the real Rick Ross. What's good?
Oh man, this all good. Just working hard.
About the story, going back to an article by Jesse Katz, where you pretty much foretell what your future would be like. Let's start with that article and just talk about that.
Yeah, well, that's one of my favorite articles that was ever written about me, because it kind of shows my skill set to be able to predict the future.
How important is that to manifest your thoughts into reality of what you see today?
Oh, very, very. I mean, that's one of the in my opinion, one of the most valuable skills that a person can have is to be able to visually cast themselves in a position that they want to be in.
During the time when you were incarcerated, you were given life, and during that time, you had the opportunity to learn how to read. Talk about that process of learning how to read while in prison, and what was the motivation to really get you started with that road?
Well, we'll start with the motivation first. The motivation was of the utmost because my freedom depended on it. And what I found out is that whenever a person's well-being is at stake, they will rise to heights that they never thought that they could rise to before. And that's what happened with me. I was able to rise, to a height to go from being an illiterate to where I could debate the law with scholars.
With that being said, Rick, how, to your knowledge, how many people during that time you think in prison were illiterate?
About 65% of the guys in prison are illiterate. Illiteracy and prison kind of goes together.
It kind of goes hand in hand, in your opinion.
Yes, they do.
With that being what it is, just going back to the time from kindergarten all the way through the 12th grade, going through the process of being pushed along, what is your thoughts on the educational system, the public educational system?
Well, this system was built for a group of people, and then there was a group of people that it wasn't built for. And once you come to grips that this system wasn't made to see you succeed. That if you plan on succeeding, then you're gonna have to step outside the box and um, do things your own way.
Does that put like a really bad spotlight on the public school system, knowing that they can just push you along like that because they really don't care because of what we come to learn as being a school to prison pipeline situation?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Also, systematic racism also plays a part in that as well. Where you send good teachers to great neighborhoods, and you send um, less qualified teachers to areas that you don't think are important. So all that definitely plays a part in that whole thinking. The funds don't come near. It's crazy, now that I ride around South Central LA and I'm seeing all these new schools popping up, and um, they spending that money that they never spent when this was a black community.
So you definitely see what they call now the gentrification of South Central LA as what you're seeing in many of the inner cities across America right now.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's live in effect here in LA.
One of the things that
Maybe to the 10th.
to the
You know,
10th,
and yeah, to the 10. Here in LA, the average house is about 600,000 right now, and that's a fixer upper. About 600,000.
with that being the case right now, where are they pushing most of the black community out to right now?
Sleeping under bridges and tents and cardboard boxes and sidewalks, and now they're talking about putting a ban on the sidewalks so you can no longer camp on sidewalks. And those who can't afford it, they get to go to the desert where they get a pretty nice house. Uh, but it's not the ideal place to live. When you factor utilities and because you got to have a heater in the wintertime and you got to have air conditioner in the summertime. Um, your bills can start to accumulate. Plus, you factor in, your commute time because the money is in LA, so you still got to commute back to LA in order to make you some money because ain't no money in them deserts.
That's interesting that you say that about the tent communities because I've actually seen that here in DC and Baltimore also as well, with what they call the tent communities where homelessness, but it's set up with tents all in one section, and then you have situations where the council and everything else wants to shut these communities down.
Yeah, they all over LA though.
Y-
Here it don't get so cold in the wintertime, so uh, they start to come from other places to come here, to do the wintertime here.
One of the things that you talked about, Rick, was reading over 300 books while you were incarcerated. What was the book that truly inspired you?
Well, I wouldn't say one. It was three books that really um, stuck to me, and I call them my three favorite books. And I recommend for everybody to read them. Most people don't though. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, Richest Man in Babylon by George Classy, and As a Woman Think or As a Man Think by James Allen, or three books, in my opinion, are must readers.
We both, Rick, had the opportunity to interview Jane Elliott. What was your thoughts on her when you had a chance to finally talk with her?
Oh, I love Jane.
As far as not being
Well,
able
I think that she has did her research and she lays the facts out, and I don't care who it comes from. If a jackass came and he was farting out the right information, yeah, I'm gonna take it. So for people to not like it because the color of her skin, uh, um, is another form of not being prejudiced, because I don't really believe blacks can be prejudiced because they don't have any power. You got to have some power to be a racist. So not being a racist, but just rejecting information because who the information is coming from.
I just wanted to go back. With the drug laws during that time, it contributed a lot of the prison population growth, even with the drug of marijuana. Today, it is legal in most states, and it's a $1 billion plus industry with less than 10% ownership and licensees of cannabis for blacks and African Americans. What are your thoughts about that?
I think it's a crime. It should be a crime, to have locked us out of this industry. Uh, but there's hope. I got a marijuana license, so there's hope.
Speaking on that, Rick, how did you get involved with the cannabis industry legally with the start of the LA Kingpins and now having your own strand at this time?
Well, when I got home, I saw these dispensaries everywhere, and why my people didn't get involved.
I think I lost your mic, Rick. Okay, now you're back.
I decided that somebody, that looked like me, should be out there putting in the bid for us.
You were part of that documentary I saw the other night, Smoke. They
Yeah.
were really just talking about the lack of participation as far as the legal process with blacks. How can uh, African Americans, blacks, get involved with that process of getting the licenses if they make it so hard for us? Is it like you have to know someone in order to be a part of
Not
that
really.
industry?
When I first started, I knew absolutely nothing. I knew nothing about marijuana. I didn't know what it smelled like. I didn't know who smoked it. But what I did is I got in and I started to educate myself. I found out from my studies of reading those 300 books that you were talking about that it really comes down to you educating yourself and preparing yourself for whatever mission you're planning on taking. And basically, what I did is I continue to educate myself in the marijuana industry, and I do that today. I'm still educating myself even today.
Being said, not only are you involved with the cannabis industry, but you're also involved with the sport of boxing. Now, for those that don't know, how did you get involved with the sport of boxing?
Well, when I got out of the halfway house, Floyd picked me up and we rode around, and my plan was um, to work with Floyd, and to assist him in whatever way that I could, but it didn't work out. Um, and then I thought about it, and something say, "Why don't you show him what he missed? Show him who you really are." Because a lot of times people, they may like you for something that you did in the past, but not really understanding who you are. And I said, you know what? Why don't you just take a boxer, just a fair boxer, and show him what you could do with him. Show him how far you could take him, and uh, then people would understand, what you can do. There's no industry that I don't think that I could dominate in. Um, I mean, and that's the same way with a lot of us. A lot of times, we as young black men, our first entrepreneurs that we meet is a drug dealer, and a lot of people they don't really like the drug dealer, but he's a bad entrepreneur. He's putting up with a whole lot of stuff, and he puts up numbers, under circumstances that a lot of people would collapse under. You know, I look at a guy like Bill Gates, and if somebody would have told Bill Gates, that if he kept Microsoft open, he was going to go to prison, he would have closed it down. I remember when he was doing the antitrust lawsuit, and they were going to break his company up, and he did everything he could legally to fight that. But had they told him that he was going to have to break it up, he would have broken it up instead of going to prison. Well, the young black man, he knows he's going to prison, but he continues to do his hustle under tremendous pressure. The threat of getting killed, robbed, or going to prison. And I feel like that if you can quote under those type of circumstances, that if you are put in a situation where the only thing you're gonna lose is some money, um, you're gonna flourish in those.
You talked about it as far as you wanted to beat Floyd's record about the amount of money he made in 33 minutes, and you also talked about the amount of money he left on the table. Can you explain that?
Yeah, I feel that he made some nice money. You know, he said he made 30 something $million. I mean 330 million, I think, in 30 minutes. And I think that another fighter can do that. I think that if they uh, make the right moves, because the money's still here. Floyd's gone, the money didn't leave. So I believe that if a fighter make the right steps, do the right things, if we had a new Muhammad Ali right now that could talk the way Muhammad talked, walk the way he walked, and fight the way he fought, uh, he would make over $300 million in 30 minutes. And what I mean by Floyd left a lot of money on the table. He didn't really get any endorsement money like he could have gotten. He should have been backed
Oh,
by Bank America. HBO should have been giving him just money just because he was Floyd. They should just send him a check every month just to say, "Hey, Floyd, how you doing? You got a check coming." Um, like right now with the fight I'm working with, Nafir Charles, we're negotiating with Lexus right now about a Lexus deal, and he's just 5-0. Um, so by the time he gets a belt, he'll probably already have a few 100,000 coming in just off endorsement money.
In the sport of boxing, it's almost like anything goes. It's like it's no commissioner, so it's like a free fall. In other words, what are your thoughts on like the promotional companies out there and how they're treating fighters right now, and how can you be different?
Well, promotional companies, they really don't promote the fighters. They don't build their fighters up. They pretty much leave it up to the fighters to do. I watched the Devin Haney fight a couple weeks ago, and uh, I was amazed that the Zone doesn't do a better promotion job for him. You know, the guys on ESPN and on Al Heyman get way more promotional attention than what he's getting, um, and I think that's sad that the promoters don't sit down and figure out ways to build up their fighters.
Hey Rick, that's a great point right there because I know Bill and Devin, right? I was very disappointed on how the Zone was treating him in that commentary. They were saying he was not marketable, so they was devaluing someone who was supposed to be your major star on the Zone, a young fighter, and you're devaluing him, saying that Ryan Garcia is more valuable and marketable than he is. So I was very surprised by that.
I don't think they were trying to devalue him though. I think what they were saying is that he has to be marketed more because if he was marketed the right way, uh, Themo Lopez would be dying to give him a fight, and Tank and the rest of them because all of them want to fight the guy that's going to bring the money. Just like with Crawford, he wants to fight Earl Spence because he knows that's where the money is at. You know, and it doesn't make sense to fight a fight when the money's not there or it won't be there or the money will be better money next year if you get a little bigger. Uh, so what I believe is that they were saying is that they want him to build himself up more.
Speaking of Terrence Crawford,
And I know Bill and Desmond too.
oh,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, like I said, I was just surprised though, just the way the commentary was about it because, like you
Well,
said,
they
it
did
put
hammer that in. You're right. They was really heavy on that about him not being as famous as he should be. I
and
mean,
what that
even
does,
with
that
with
puts you at a disadvantage in negotiations when you do want those fights with Tank Davis and a Teofimo Lopez. They like, we not gonna we the A side for sure because you look at your own the Zone is not even backing you.
Well, I mean, and that you don't just need the commentators. You can tell now with with the way this internet and all that stuff works. You can tell who's marketable now. You can literally get on the internet and the internet will tell you. Just like with the record labels, as soon as you walk in, the first thing they want to know is how many followers you got on social media. And
Now,
if your followers ain't up to par, they don't really want to mess with you. I had Jay Pence on my live the other night, and he was saying the one thing that got him with his son and Drake is that his son told him Drake had a buzz. That buzz is so important. Um, and you can see kind of if you get a chance, you check out my guy Not Fear. He's young, 20 years old, just starting, only had 5 fights, but already in Philadelphia, he's already one of the stars in Philadelphia. I mean, we just did something as simple as having one of the comedians come down to the gym and play like he was gonna fight him, and we put the video out, and the video went viral.
yeah,
So you just got to come up with ways to be creative, and a lot of these promoters they have the power, but they just don't use it.
with that being said, what you were saying about Jay Prince, have y'all had those conversations? But because he's also involved with the sport of boxing and has a young star in Shakur Stevenson.
Yeah, he does. We haven't really spoke boxing. I mean, that was the first time me and Jay spoke in about probably ain't spoken about 7-8 years. Um, both our schedules are so crazy. Last time I had talked to Jay, he'd had dinner for me at his restaurant when I was in Houston, and we hadn't had a chance to talk. And I think his number had changed too, so we hadn't spoke. But and then we were after the same fighter. I found out I was after a fighter that I found out Jay was after. Uh, uh, so I backed up though once I found out Jay had already been after the guy for a while. But we on kind of the same wavelengths, somewhat. Um, but when I go at this business though, I'm going for the juggler. I want to be big as Al, bigger than Al.
Speaking of Al, right? I wonder how many fighters have actually met Al, because it seems like it's almost like the Wizard of Oz. He's the man behind the curtain that nobody's ever seen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But a
That's
lot of
amazing.
fighters, have a lot of trust and love for Al.
Well,
From what I
Al set up a system though. Al got a system where guys get paid. So if you can write them checks, if they can get them checks for that million and a half, they don't care if they don't never see you. Matter of fact, I was with one of the fighters assigned to Al and the matchmaker, and the fighter said, "Man, when I'm gonna get the right Al?" He said, "Man, what you wanted me to Al for? I'm the one writing the checks." And you know what I said? That make a lot of sense. But then again, that goes back to the fighter. If they build themselves up big enough, Al gonna want to meet them.
hmm
Like with me, Al gonna want to meet me. He don't know it yet, or maybe he might already know it. He might done heard already. Because I done been messing around with enough fighters. I was messing with J Rock for a while. I messed with Scooter, Austin Trout. So I've been around this game, and me and Sam is cool. Uh,
You know what's so different about the sport of boxing? Because it was a quote one time that said it's a sport where the very educated meets the very uneducated.
I can agree with that because a lot of these boxers whew, man, they don't understand. As my mama used to say, how to pull piss out of a boot, and you can put an arrow on it and say turn it upside down. And a lot of them can't do that. But
No,
that's why
it's
I'm here. That's why I'm here to protect them. I'm here to protect the fighters. I don't need the money. I'm gonna have more money than sin. I make marijuana money. They ain't never seen that kind of money.
which is liquid money.
Liquid cash money. You can't put it in the bank. So
What
so
what
you
what what have fighters' reception been when you've been reaching out to them? Because like I said, they've always known the top ranks with Bob Aaron, but you see what's going on with him and Terrence Crawford right now, And I'm actually kind of surprised that Terrence still has this much love for Bob Arum, knowing that he can put himself in a situation where he can do this himself if he really thought about it.
Well, some of what I didn't really hear the whole conversation yet. I've been getting bits and pieces, but from what I was hearing, Al was saying is that he wants Terrence to start promoting himself. For Terrence to go out and do some of the things that some of the other fighters do to make themselves relevant. And apparently he doesn't do that. And Bob may not know how to do it as either, because it would benefit Bob if he did it. But Bob's saying that he's not going to do it no more. That he spent enough money to buy a house in Beverly Hills on Crawford, and he ain't spending no more money. So I can understand why Crawford would still have love for him, because they've done so much together, and he probably credit Bob with his lifestyle, with making the kind of money that he makes, and he's probably doing good for himself. He should be doing pretty good for himself, not making the kind of money that he would probably be making if he was signed to Al, because he would have some of the greatest fights that he's ever fought to actually fight, but not having that makes it difficult.
I wonder if fighters realize the power that they actually have, because it's almost like in times right now when we have with the pandemic going on, and I look at how the NBA was in the bubble, and how even with boxing you see it in the bubble. And I go back to that time when there was two YouTubers who actually put their fights on YouTube and made a ton of money. Now, could you imagine
And
if
they can't fight.
and can't fight? And can you imagine if fighters got together and be like, "Hey, look, man, let's
But
maybe
they
do
can't.
this."
But I tell people all the time: is it better to work for $1,000 a week, right, or to say at the end of 3 years you make $400,000? Most people are gonna take that $1,000 a week because they can't afford not to. And that's the situation with a lot of boxers, is that they can't afford not to get that instant money right then. They need it. I talk to fighters all the time, and a lot of the decision making is based on, can you give me some money right now? Not where can you take my career in 3 years? Where will I be in 3 years? But what can you do for me tomorrow?
But what you said make a lot of sense, Rick, because like you said, looking for outside income, like with endorsements and things of that nature, because you don't really see that with boxers, like you said, like you do in other sports,
No, they
such
don't
as
even. They're not
basketball
even
and football.
movie. They're not even movie stars. I mean,
And
really, a guy like Floyd, he should have been playing in 2 or 3 movies a year. Getting a nice check. 2, 3, $4 million a year, or maybe even becoming the new Denzel, even. Because he had that kind of drawing power, but not knowing, or not wanting to. It could have been not knowing and not wanting to. Uh, 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 but he still kind of liked the limelight. He likes to be seen. He wants to be that guy still, and that would have been a way he could have stayed, relevant and in the limelight, is by coming up with different careers. With all my fighters, one of the first thing I ask them is, what else do you want to do besides boxing?
yeah, now I can.
Yeah, the kid, not fear. I love this kid. He wants to go to college. We working on getting him in USC right now. He wants to study a medicine. Uh, he wants to be a medicine engineer. His dad is a medicine engineer, so he wants to follow in his dad's footsteps. Also, he wants to do some acting. Uh, so those are the things that I'll be working on for him. And I'm not gonna be in the ring with him, even though I'm gonna hire the best trainers. We getting ready to send him down to work with Jackson in a couple weeks. Hear me?
Yeah, I got you back. Got you
Can
back.
you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
We on the hotline. Hey, we on the
Everybody
hotline. So
calling you.
man,
Oh,
I feel about 200 phone calls a day. No, leave
my,
this one.
my, my bad, Rick.
Yeah.
I'm back at it. Um, going back
Yeah, I
into
feel about 200 phone calls a day.
what you were saying earlier as far as like with the marketing of fighters. I look at someone like a Javante Tank Davis who really knows how to market himself, his team. I've seen him at football games, baseball games, get the key to the city. So, like you said, with someone like a Terrence Crawford, that he really has to decide if that's. It's not like the old days where a boxer is a boxer. We're in the age of social media where the casuals are paying for these pay-per-views. So you have to think outside the boxing differently during these days and times.
And then in the old days, you talking about a guy like Muhammad Ali, he fought 4 times a year. So
I
you
was
got to
gonna
see him 4 times a year.
I was gonna ask you that, man. What's your thoughts on that? The inactivity
The-
of fighters
These
today.
guys might fight. These guys might fight once every year and a half. So you're not really seeing. I mean, for me, it'd be amazing to me for me to walk down the street with a fighter and people ask me for a picture, and I had to tell them, "Oh, that's the champ. He got 2 belts. He's a world champ, and nobody knows him." So what that tells me is that they haven't been doing their work. They haven't been doing their homework.
Yeah, that's crazy with the inactivity. What are your thoughts on the sanctioning fees by the sanctioning bodies like the WBC, WBA, taking percentage of the fighters' money?
Well, I mean, really, what the 2 guys showed us is that you don't even need those belts.
You don't.
You don't need those belts. You don't need those belts to make no money. You make your own belt. Buy your belt.
I I wouldn't be surprised, Rick. I wouldn't be surprised if Al Heyman and PBC get to a point where they be like, "Man, we're gonna make our own belt." Almost like what you see with Dana White and the UFC.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if Al has that same hunger anymore though. Al doesn't show because it's hard to really come up with ideas when you're not around the game. It'd be hard. It's like with the marijuana. The reason I'm so confident in myself in the marijuana because even though I'm fighting against billionaires, they don't come to the battle. They never come to the battlefield. They fighting from some office in a high rise and they don't see the battlefield. So I can take my little 10 or 15 guys and we'll slaughter 10,000 of their men's because their men are just doing it for the money and they don't have the passion. So I don't know if Al still has the passion that he once had for boxing. I mean, he done did everything that you could do in boxing. What's that for him?
What is your goals as far as the sport of boxing?
Well, I think that I don't think that the fighters have been getting treated fairly. I think that they should get the bulk of the money. Um, that they shouldn't, get 50 years old and don't have money to pay their rent and can't send their kids to private schools and stuff like that. There, I just don't understand how that could be. How somebody could make the kind of money that some of these fighters are making and don't know what to do with that money. I can take $1 and do it, make it look like rubber. I'm gonna stretch it, bounce it. I'm gonna do all kind of stuff with it.
How did the fighters start turning professional at younger ages, 15, 16, 17 years old? And I go back to what I originally said, where you have the very educated meeting the very uneducated, where they don't know about the contracts and things of that nature. They haven't been schooled in a lot of things, and you relying on people around you to handle your affairs, and that got to be a hard situation to be in if someone isn't treating you properly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, now I can.
That's why you need somebody around you that has your best interests at heart. That really has your best interests at heart. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I got you, Rick.
Yeah, yeah. They ain't gonna stop calling. It's still business hours. So,
Speaking of that, Rick, man, how important is it to have a great team around you?
oh, to the utmost. What really surprises me though about these guys is they got managers and stuff that don't answer their phone. I mean,
I know. That's
how
crazy.
can you do business and you don't answer your phone? What if somebody call you and say, hey, we want your guy to do a commercial. We're gonna give him, $1 million, and you don't even answer the phone. So that is one of the most amazing things to me is that these guys don't answer their phone. I take pride in answering my phone. I got a joke that I tell when I go out and do my seminars, and I tell the kids that I answer my phone every time it calls because somebody owes me $10 million. And I know that the only way they're gonna contact me, well, I used to say the only way they're gonna contact me was through my phone, but now I say they might hit me on the internet too. So I gotta have people on there answering those messages on the internet as well because I get a lot of messages on the internet, and most of them is about opportunities. Somebody invented something, somebody got a gig for me, somebody think I should say this, they got a new t-shirt design. So without answering that phone, you would never know what opportunities lie in the wake for you.
Are you surprised fighters don't get an independent audit to know exactly what they're actually bringing in?
Well, some of those guys are so uh, loyal, and you got to remember, like you said, a lot of these guys are uneducated, and they've been looking for something to latch on to, somebody to hold on to. And when they get somebody who's taken care of, who bought them houses and cars and jewelry, and helping the kids go to college, uh, they have a tendency not to question those guys
That's
or their tactics. You
now I
know, the,
know I know we're in the midst of the COVID and the pandemic situation, but in the future, do you plan on putting your own fight card together?
Absolutely. I'm building my own streaming channel right now. I'm gonna start off just going around streaming all the fights. I got the cameras, so I'm gonna just be going around to these guys who throw these little fights, and I'll just be streaming them for them, and they can go to my site and my app, and they can watch the fights for free. And I'm going to the Nationals this year too. I'll be at the Nationals. I got a couple kids that I'm working, trying to do business with. I don't know if you ever heard of the Mason brothers out of Cleveland, Ohio.
I met them. I met them. They all out in Vegas right now.
Yeah, yeah, I love it. I love that family. I love the dad.
Family of five brothers.
Yeah, yeah, I could do miracles with them boys. Um, I'm just hoping that the dad, give me a shot and let me show him what I can do. But yeah, I'm
Oh,
I'm
okay.
going to the Nationals this year. Um, but whatever happens, this kid Nafir, they're gonna hear a lot from Nafir. Nafir is gonna be a force to be reckoned with. We're gonna try to get a title by the end of next year. We want to fight for one of the big titles, and we don't care who got it.
You know,
We're
it's
going.
funny that you mentioned the Nationals down in Louisiana. Do you, in your opinion, do you think that's still going to go on right now because everything is starting to shut down? Do you think that will still be taking place in
I don't
December?
know. I don't know. It's up in the air. I'm wondering. I don't know, but if it does, I'm gonna jump in the car and drive down. For a couple of days. A couple kids down there that I've been talking to. About 4 kids I've been talking to, other than the Mason brothers. Uh, that I want to get.
It's almost like recruitment down there because I heard Mayweather Promotions, Top Rank, the Zone, like a couple of promotional companies sending people down there to scout this particular nationals because of the simple fact that if we haven't had fights all year in the amateurs, it was a big registration for the nationals this year. So you're gonna see a lot of the top fighters at the nationals.
Yeah, yeah. I heard it was gonna be a lot of guys there. Well, it's a couple nice guys that I'm looking at. You know, a couple gonna turn pro right after this. So I want to be there to show my support and keep my bid in. Well, the good thing is that they just sending representatives. They ain't coming themselves. So
And you just talked about and you talked about that. You said you always got to do it yourself.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I know what I'm looking for, and I'll know from looking at that, I'll be able to make decisions on other things. And that's why I was saying, with somebody like Al, it's hard for Al to make decisions on some fighter that's fighting in the nationals that he's never saw. He can only go by what somebody told him.
besides yourself, Rick, do you have other scouts within your organization that goes
I
out?
do. I do. My team is big. I got about a 50 squad, about a 50 man and woman squad. But we cover a variety of areas. We do clothes. One of my best friends used to own American Apparel. Um, so we plan on dressing them out. Um, we doing the marijuana. We do music. We got a couple artists that's about to be big in the music industry. We're gonna mix it up. We're gonna bring it back like Don King used to do. I remember when Don King used to do it. I used to go to some of those fights. So I know
That's
how it used to be a weekend. It wasn't a fight, it was gonna be a comedy show, it was gonna be a concert, it was gonna be a couple parties. It's like people would go in just for the party, would never even go to the fight.
Do you think that's missing in the sport of boxing? Because remember during that time, like you said, Don King put on events. He knew how to name the events. I mean, he had themes for the events. So
Absolutely. Don King was the greatest, really, that ever did it. Al probably's made more money, probably had more titles. But Don King started this thing. He put the money in boxing.
What's your thoughts on the Roy Jones Mike Tyson fight that's coming up?
You know what? I was supposed to be interviewing Roy Jones tonight, I thought, but they didn't hit me up. I want to talk to him and ask him, have he lost his mind?
Oh, if you get a chance, Rick, because I'm trying to get his coach too. I spoke with his coach. You definitely got to get his coach, man. He got a great story to tell. Who it did like 35 years down in Angola.
Who, Roy's coach?
Yeah. Valerie Cooper.
Great. Yeah, I didn't know he had a great coach.
Great coach.
I'm trying to get all the coaches right now. I'm working with Jackson, Paul out of Detroit, Mickey Bay.
Oh, my man, Mickey.
Yeah, Rob Garcia. Both Rob Garcias. I work with both Rob Garcias. One of my goals is to lock all of the great fighters, trainers down, make stars out of them as well, because I believe that they're the ones that know how to create a great fighter. Because you can have skills and everything, but if you don't have a great trainer to show you how to hone those skills, it can all be for nothing.
Yeah, if you get a chance, definitely want to get hit Valerie Cooper, man. His story was a great story because of how he even went to prison. I'm
gonna look him up since you mentioned him.
Yeah, they actually got a story about him called a documentary called "The Corner Man."
Yeah, I'm gonna look him up.
Right now he's training this young lady Ariel Davis, who's going to be fighting for the Haitian Olympic team. So he's working with her also as well. But it was crazy how all these people he had trained up, and Roy had saw one of the fighters he trained and was like, I want to work with him because I like that style. And it was just amazing story of what the things he had did while in prison, bringing up the boxing program through prison.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope.
Yeah, so if you get a chance, I've reached out to him. So it's supposed to be happening, but he said it's been a busy week for him because this is the last week to get ready for the fight that's coming up this week.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they're gonna let that fight go on here. Because of they already put restrictions on already in the city. We got a 10:00 curfew. I'm also getting ready to do a movie too. I'm getting ready to shoot 2 movies at one time, maybe 3.
Oh wow!
I might do 3 at one time.
Yeah, my brother does movies out there in Hollywood. He got a movie coming out on Netflix in February. He just did one that's out like a mini series called Too Faded.
Too faded.
It's all about the come up.
Too faded.
It's all about the come up.
Too faded.
It's all about the come up.
Too faded.
It's all about the
Has he called in yet? I've been for 15 minutes and I'm supposed to have an appointment.
I am not the shop receptionist, sir. And I don't have anyone next, so?
Rick, you got anybody next?
Got one more on the way after this, and I gotta take my lunch, cause a nigga ain't eat. Give him a call, man. You know how smoke be.
So how you fucking living? I just wanna call my mama, say all the visit. Then I came in with the bag, I put the flow.
Hey, ooh, yeah. I got this from downtown.
For Rachel?
Nigga, she love you low key.
Man, you need to go ahead and hit that.
Ooh, I'm trying, man. I'm gonna slide her DMs tonight and I'm gonna give it to her.
Again.
Oh my God, but this nigga, I'm outside, nigga, relax, damn.
Hey, that boy love you.
Hey, he keep calling me, bro. This the third time. I swear I hate cutting this dude, bro.
I'm late. He's late. I'm so late. I have stuff to do. I can't be late anymore. You know? What is the point of making a damn appointment if he's not even gonna show up?
Boy, bye.
I mean, seriously, what kind of establishment are you guys running here? Seriously. Really?
Man, Henry, sit your little ass down, man.
What?
Nigga acting like we in a Tyler Perry movie or something.
whatever.
Goofy ass.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. That could have been you.
Hey, yo, John.
Yo, what's good with you, homie? How you been?
Hey, yo, man, I know I didn't get the chance to make an appointment, but
Do you
hey,
ever, man?
come on, man, I just need a quick little taper.
John, can you come here right now?
Goddamn, Henry, what's going on?
Listen,
hey, yo, man.
Sorry, bro. I was here before you. Listen, man, I've been here since 9 o'clock. I need my haircut.
Oh,
I'm talking right now.
You been here since 9 o'clock?
Yes, and he still isn't here yet.
Yo,
Hey,
man,
yo, chill out, Frankie, chill out. I got you next, all right?
Exactly.
So, yo, did you call him, bro?
Of course I did.
You're smart, nigga. You a fucking genius,
nigga, I'm telling you.
You fucking smart.
Hey, man, look, bro, this barber shit alone ain't gonna get to the bag, bro. We gotta do something else, Rick.
Bro, I've been saying that. Dumb.
Oh, fuck, bro. This nigga John in the shop now.
You booking appointments, stupid.
Man, shut up. Fuck you, bro.
You dumb as fuck.
I finna have to go in, though. He gonna park over there and then start his route. When he done, text me, bro.
All right, got you.
All right.
Hey, tell Kiki I said hey, though.
Bro, she don't want you.
Nigga, you don't know that yet.
All right. I got you, though. All right, real nigga. I'ma holler at you.
All right.
Too faded.
It's all about the come up.
Too faded.
It's all about the come up.
Too faded.
It's all about the come up.
Too faded.
It's all about the
High conscious, cutting all the nonsense. Watch me come up quick, nickel and dime shit. Turned around, face the mirror, high seat again. None of you runners won't smoke with the kingpins. Lined up, got my OG, rolled up, hold up, go numb, re-up, go dumb. Got me on my way, high speed chase between Moon Rock and Hard Place, stuck in
I'm talking about the weed. It's a weed comedy. So yeah, I got a brother out there.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope. You ought to hook us up.
Yeah, he do independent films.
You ought to hook us up.
Okay, yeah, it's called on Instagram, Black Tiger Films.
Yeah, hook us up.
Okay, most definitely. I'll send the information to
I got some guys I hooked up out of Philly. They got a movie coming out in November. I got them signed. They did the movie independently and came to a club one night. And, I was in New York, and they drove up from Philly to New York and was able to convince me to look at the movie. I usually don't, because I don't really look at movies. You know, I get tired of lies and stories, and you know, if it ain't real, I don't really want to watch it. But they was able to get me to look at it, and when I saw it, the thing was so funny. It's called Doing a Bid by the guy. He moves in with a drug dealer's girlfriend. The drug dealer go to prison, and he moves in with his girlfriend. And it's so funny. The guy calls from prison. The drug kingpin called from prison, and the guy answers his phone and tell him, "Man, this ain't your woman no more. Don't call this phone no more." And somehow the police raid the house again, and this time they take him to jail. So he winds up in the same prison as the drug kingpin who runs the whole prison. So that's just a snippet of it. But we gonna start marketing that in the next week or so.
Okay, okay.
So you
Yeah,
know, just
I seen my brother's information through your Instagram.
yeah, dude. No, send it to CC.
Oh, send to CC. Okay.
Yeah, you know, I get too many messages on Instagram.
Nah, I see. Man,
My people, they
blowing
don't
up.
want no more. Hey, they don't want no more Instagram work. I said, what y'all gonna do when I get up to 10 million followers? I'm gonna have a whole staff just to answer all the messages. But yeah, send it to CC and then I'll get it.
Yes.
Easier. That way I'll definitely get it.
Yeah, and also I send the information on that coach too, man. You definitely want him, man. His story, like I said, is an amazing story.
And you know, we doing books too. I'm doing other people's books. You know, all my fighters are working on books. Uh,
Yeah,
so
I got. Yeah, speaking of books, man, I still got this one, man.
you ain't read it?
Yes, I have. I'm halfway through it now.
All right. What's my favorite 3 books? Yeah,
Uh,
I got you. I got you.
was no, it wasn't Rich Dad Poor Dad. What? No.
Nah.
No.
Rich Dad Poor Dad. It was a good book, but you know, I know the guy who wrote it never did nothing.
Really?
Yeah, so I don't really number write a book. You know, he wrote the book and got rich off writing books, but he never went out in the streets and started with 150, $125 and turned it into a couple million. You know, he didn't do nothing like that there. So
Yeah,
I wasn't impressed.
I'm actually in the part in the book where you actually meet Arthur Ashe.
Oh, okay.
And when down in Compton when they the Sarita the sisters during that time on the tennis courts.
No, they wasn't on the tennis court during the Arthur Ashe time. They came
No,
up a little later.
You had mentioned that, talked about that in here.
Oh yeah. I knew them. I knew them when I think Serena was around. I mean, Venus was around 12 when I met them. Because I had some tennis stars too that I was bringing up. So we'd all be at the tennis courts together, and by us being the only blacks there, we all kind of congregated.
Did you know Chef Jeff Henderson?
I never met Chef. I know about him. You know, I used to see him on TV and in the newspapers and stuff like that when he had got out of prison.
That was a great story. I read that book in 3 days. I couldn't put it down from the cook from the streets to the stove. That was a great book.
Yeah. He did some amazing stuff. But you know, with my thing, it's a little tougher for me, you know, because I'm a kingpin. If you're just a dope dealer, it's a little different. You know, they treat dope dealers a little different than they treat kingpins. You know, with kingpins, they be scared to touch you. You know, it don't look right hanging out with a drug kingpin. But you know, if it's a dope dealer, you know, he just sold a little dope. It ain't so bad. But you
It
know,
was crazy because in one of the stories he talked about in prison where one of his COs was Antoine Fisher.
Is that right?
Yeah, that was crazy. I was like, damn, Antoine Fisher.
Yeah, that is crazy. Yeah, so you know, I'm dealing with a little different prejudice, and then you know, with the rapper who stole my name, you know, I sued him, sued Warner Brothers, Universal, and Sony Pictures. So I mean Sony Music. So you sue all the.
You know, with that being said, Rick, are they? He's still able. Why is he still able to use your name like that?
They won in court. They won in court.
Wait, were you surprised by that?
I was totally.
How can somebody do that?
Well, you know, like I said, when we go to court, they would say the rapper and the drug kingpin. So that's a whole lot right there. That's how the judge used to address us.
Wow.
So, you know, I already knew she had some prejudice against me. You know, you look at it like this here. They saying, are we going to give these good white folks money to this dope dealer who just got out of jail from doing 20 years? Well, I don't think so.
You know, speaking of that also, before we wrap it up, what's your thoughts? Because I don't know if you really talked about it that much, was the whole situation with Snowfall and that series based on your life?
Oh, yeah, John Singleton jacked me. He jacked me. He was working with us. You know, we were hoping that he was going to be the director for my movie. And he just disappeared. And after he disappeared, next thing we know, he got financed for Snowfall. which killed my TV series, because I was working on a TV series too. Well, it killed it at that time. Let me say killed is not the correct word. Slowed it down. That's more the right word, because it's coming out. I'll pretty much, as long as I don't die, I'll pretty much be able to do anything that I want to do in this country. You
Now,
see, I had a picture with the vice president elect.
I saw that. I was going to ask you about that. What's your thoughts behind that? Because she was part of the process that helped put those drug laws into effect.
No. Remember, she said on the thing. She said on the documentary the other night. She was on the documentary too.
I saw that. But is that true? What she said?
I can only take her for a word, because I don't know. I don't know the background.
Yeah. When I heard that, I was like, "Wow, is that true?"
Yeah, she said that she got in it to reform the justice system, not to lock black men up. And I can only believe, what she told me is a fact.
But they had put out so much that she was a part of that.
Yeah, well, Trump puts out so much bullshit. I don't believe nothing Trump. If they say Trump or Republican, I turn it off. And I'm not a Democrat, even though people may think I am. I'm not a Democrat. I'm an independent, because I'm an independent thinker. Matter of fact, the guy who was running here against Maxine Waters, who is like my auntie, I went and met with him when he was running against her this year. And she called me and gave me the blues about it. What did you meet with him for? I said, because I'm an independent thinker. And I want to know what he got to say. Now I'd already cast my vote. I said, now I already cast my vote for you. I don't know if you necessarily earned it though, but I just gave it to you, like we do as black people so often. We just give away our stuff, our votes, our money. We give it all away. Our thoughts, our ideas, our talents. But I ain't one for giving my shit away no more.
How do you think?
I want to be paid. I want to be paid, and it don't have to be cash money either.
Rick. With that being said, with this election, because of really the black vote that really put the hump over for Biden, what should be the next step as a group of people that we start to get things that other groups are getting?
Well, you know what? I'm hoping that blacks wake up and get in this cannabis industry with me. This cannabis industry is going to be bigger than tobacco and alcohol. We can make enough money to take care of ourselves, to fund our schools, and make sure all our people got jobs. We literally won't have anything to worry about if we capture the right circumstances. I'm not looking for the government to do nothing for me. I didn't want Donald Trump to do nothing for me. I wasn't looking for Obama to do nothing for me. I ain't looking for Kamala to do anything for me, no more than give me my respect. I ain't looking for Biden to do nothing for me. I'm going to do for myself.
Rick, how can the average person like myself get involved with the cannabis industry?
Give me a call. Holler at your boy. It's wide open. It's plenty of room. It's not easy right now because, like I said, we fighting against people that got billions of dollars. But the good thing is they don't know what they're doing. I'm going to get to buy all their assets at fire prices. I'm just waiting till the fire sales start. I'm going to help light it up, too. I'm going to throw a match on it. Because a lot of these guys, they coming in with all these billions and they're hearing how much money can be made. But, they never sold weed. They never smoked weed. At least they say they haven't. But it's definitely here for you. And if you want to get involved, just get with us. We helping. We helping Cody Shang right now get her brand started. A young model out of Atlanta named Dominique. We helping her. We helping Money Man. D Brooks out of Chicago already. And a few other people that I can't mention names. That thinking about getting into the industry. So, it's wide open for you. You just got to figure out what part of the game you want to be in, because everybody in the game don't have to touch flower. You know, you don't actually have to touch the drug to make money at this game.
Yeah, because even right now the roll-ups are becoming a big industry right now.
Everything, the marketing. I just come from a marketing meeting today. You know, we talked about how to market the product and how to get it out there. So it's there, and if you're interested, and anybody else that's interested, y'all gonna have to hit me up online. You know what I'm saying, and let my people know that y'all interested. But you got CC number, so hit CC up, and then we can have a conversation off.
Definitely. Oh,
You know,
I gotta ask you. You know, with 50 doing so many different documentaries, like he about to do the BMF, did he ever reach out to you to
yeah,
do
we
the
talked.
documentary?
We talked. Me and 50 talked. Matter of fact, I signed a option with his guy, Randall Emmett. You know, he bought an option to my TV series, and he put me on the phone. Me, him, and 50 talked about what it would be, and 50 told him that he thought that my story was the greatest story ever. But him and Randall fell out a couple months after that. And I heard they were on the internet arguing about money or something. So it never materialized. But yeah, we did talk. I done talked just about everybody, man, in the industry. Nick Cannon, Jamie Foxx, Dr. Dre, Snoop, John Singleton, Antoine Fuqua, Denzel Washington. I mean, you know, the list go on and on and on and on. Mike Epps. I just go through my Rolodex and, you know, all the people that I've talked to. But I didn't want to sell my story to a studio.
Is it hard to watch Snowfall, knowing that's your story?
I never have. Been easy for me not to watch it.
Have you heard about it?
Oh, I hear about it all the time. I met the guy Franklin who plays my role. One day I was at Whole Foods and he saw me and he walked over and sit at the table with me and we had lunch and just chopped it up. Good kid. I like Franklin. Um, um, but no, I mean, you know, it is what it is. Really, I'm glad that it's a successful story because, you know, a lot of times they feel like the black stories don't really have that appeal, especially the overseas value. So you can sell the overseas rights. But Snowfall is helping with all that. It's opening up doors.
Oh, before we wrap it up, Rick, you know, being from South Central, did you ever get a chance to work with Nipsey Hussle?
I never worked with Nip. Me and Nip had a few conversations, probably about 5. You know, when I first got out, I met Nip the first time at the QD3 screening of the Lil Wayne documentary, and me and Nip sit next to each other at the screening, and we talked the whole night. We had a few club appearances together, and I'd always hoped to do business with Nipsey, but we never did.
How has South Central been since his passing?
South Central didn't change. You know, people get killed here every day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you know, for a minute it was sad. You know that one of the heroes from the community got killed, but it went back to normal. And the good thing about that whole situation is that it wasn't somebody from a different gang. Had it been from a different gang, it could have been ugly.
It would have been a lot worse for the city, huh?
Yeah, it could have been a lot worse for the city. You know, would have probably started a gang war, which it didn't because they was from the same set. But I think it started some in set fighting. You know, because you know inside each gang there's fractions. You know, this group is with this guy and that group is with that guy. So I think that took place. But for the most part, the city's back to normal other than COVID. You know, COVID kind of got us in a rut right now. But for the most part, the city is back to normal as far as that goes.
You know, one of the things that you like to do is with the activism and things of that nature. Is one of the things that you want to do is show young black women, young black boys and girls that they can be entrepreneurs too.
Absolutely, and they're better than me. So I
Explain.
didn't learn how to read till I was 28 years old. So some of those kids are 9. My kids been reading since they was 2 years old. You know, so they had a capacity to learn. But now what you have to also do is not only know how to learn, but now know how to channel those things that you learn into action. And that's one of the things that I do really well is that I'm able to turn my thoughts into action. And I'm not worried about not doing it perfect or making a mistake. Most people they're paralyzed themselves because the situation is not perfect. And what I've learned is that the situation is never going to be perfect. Just get started with wherever you at.
Do you have a low tolerance for excuses, knowing your story and like you said, learning to read at the age of 28? Do you have a low tolerance for excuses?
I listen to them, but at the end of the day, I tell people they like assholes. Everybody got one, so use yours.
Rick, man,
Yeah,
I truly appreciate your time, man, giving me a hour of your time tonight, man.
yeah, I appreciate you too.
I
Thanks.
definitely want to work with you, man, especially like because
You
I
got
got a
it.
foothold. I got a
Tell,
foothold on the young talent in boxing also as well too, man. I
huh?
cover a lot of the young talent in my area.
Do you
Yeah.
hook me up with them? That's you. You got my attention. Tell CC to hook us up.
All right, most definitely, man. I truly
All right.
appreciate your time, Rick.
One love. Tell everybody they can follow me at Freeway Ricky on Instagram and Freeway Rick Ross on Facebook. They took my Twitter down, so I'm Twitterless right now, and I ain't got no TikTok.
Me either.
uh, but I'm starting a new website called Freeway Enterprise. It was an old website. I had it going before, but I'm gonna kick it back up. So have them to hit me up and check out some of my stuff. Go in there, check out my new shirts, and I'm doing a new T-shirt right now that's gonna go crazy. Watch the way I market this T-shirt. It's gonna be bananas. It's gonna be bananas. Everybody gonna be talking about it. Uh, you'll see. We'll talk later though.
I bet. I
One
appreciate
love.
your time, Rick.
One.
All right, there you have it. Rick Ross on the ropes. I'm out.